State Purchasing Division, who we are and what we do. If you are wondering how the State Purchasing Division, also known as SPD, assists other entities throughout the state with the purchase of goods and services, this video will help you with these questions. As part of the Department of Administrative Services, SPD functions as a division that helps other state entities with the purchasing of goods and services, managing contracts, and using state purchasing cards. More specifically, SPD provides support for sourcing, conducting negotiations of statewide contracts, and managing those contracts, providing technical assistance to state entities in conducting and evaluating their own entity-specific competitive bids, making available electronic sourcing tools that allow procurement professionals from the different state entities to post and award their own competitive bids, developing, deploying, and monitoring the application of policy and procedures that govern the state procurement activities, monitoring risk and compliance for procurement policies and laws, managing and monitoring the use of state purchasing cards and procurement tools that allow state employees to obtain goods and services quickly and efficiently, and offering training which includes certification programs to provide procurement professionals with the knowledge and skills necessary to perform their job duties within the legal and policy constraints of the state of Georgia. Negotiation of statewide contracts. The negotiation of statewide contracts allows SPD to develop centralized contracts that help decrease the overall cost of commodities and/or services to the state, and facilitates the purchase of goods and/or services for all state entities, without the need for the state entities to establish their own unique and specific state entity contracts. To do this, SPD asks state entities to submit their specific requests for statewide contracts on a continuing basis and evaluate spending patterns across the state to determine statewide contract needs. This helps SPD to organize its statewide contract work schedule to address the state entity's most urgent needs. During the statewide procurement process, SPD forms a team and collaborates with state entities' resources who have technical skills or subject matter expertise related to the specific commodity or surface area being sourced, so that they can assist in the development of requirements, evaluate participating vendors, and select the best candidate or candidates to fulfill the new statewide contract. With statewide contracts being at the heart of many transactions in the state, it is imperative to manage the contracts according to the established terms and conditions. SPD oversees all facets of the management process for contracts established for use by state organizations, unifying the management processes and creating relationships with customers, vendors, partners, and employees. This ensures compliance with the terms and conditions and documents any changes or amendments that may arise during the contract execution. Providing technical assistance to state entities. In addition to establishing statewide contracts, SPD also provides technical assistance to state entities. What does this mean? It means that SPD works together with state entity procurement personnel to perform all or some of the tasks outlined in the procurement process to source entity-specific goods or services. Why would a state entity request such services? Because it may not have the appropriate personnel in place, or the personnel may be new in their purchasing roles and not know all of the state procedures and regulations. It could also be that the state entity does not have enough resources to address the sourcing needs, or the sourcing event is above the delegated purchasing authority, or DPA, assigned to that state entity by SPD. SPD assigns DPA based on the state entity's procurement experience, audit results, and education. Providing Team Georgia Marketplace. Another important component of the procurement process relates to the use of electronic procurement and sourcing tools to support the procurement function. SPD supports and makes available Team Georgia Marketplace, or TGM, to all state entities so that procurement staff from the different state entities can post their competitive solicitations and manage the established contracts. With the use of TGM, state employees can easily buy items and services needed for their jobs. Purchasing officers can post solicitations and reach suppliers throughout the country. Suppliers receive automatic notifications when a competitive solicitation is available in their specific area of expertise. With Team Georgia Marketplace, state employees can purchase goods and services from established statewide contracts and other vendors. The goods and some services display in the form of catalogs so that employees can easily find the items they need, and they can combine several items in one purchasing request. As employees make these purchasing requests from catalogs available from TGM, the system routes the request to the appropriate internal resources for approvals, based on the approval protocol defined by each state entity. In addition to making it easy for state employees to purchase commodities and services, TGM includes a list of almost 50,000 bidders and suppliers that have registered in TGM to do business with the state. This way, hundreds of procurement professionals across the state who manage the purchasing of goods and services for their individual state entities have access to this centralized list, which is vetted and organized based on the type of commodity or service they offer. This community of people comes together using TGM, which is available 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. When users have problems with the system or can't get things to work, different types of solutions are available. There is training available for all different users: requesters, suppliers, sourcing officers, and contract managers. And if this does not work, users can call or email the Procurement Contact Center with questions and have immediate response. However, if the request requires additional research or a complex solution, the support team provides additional resources and expertise needed to resolve the issue or request. Establishing policies and procedures for procurement. One of the most important services SPD provides to state entities is the definition and application of policies and procedures, and the development of supporting documents and tools that assist procurement staff, bidders, and suppliers to participate in the procurement process. The establishment of these policies and procedures sets a framework for monitoring and assessing the application of these guidelines to ensure that all state entities meet state requirements and function according to the established procedures. Most importantly, it provides assurance that all contracts over $25,000 are processed in compliance with relevant state legislation, policies, and guidelines. Because contracting for goods and services represents a significant expenditure for the state, SPD is committed to a continuous monitoring process designed to help state organizations comply with the law and make fiscally sound decisions. Administering the Purchasing Card Program. SPD is also responsible for administering the Purchasing Card Program. The Purchasing Card, or P-Card, is a credit card program that allows all state entities' authorized employees to use it for transactions up to a predetermined limit, which varies by employee. Because today's growing use of procurement cards can expose the state to abuse, misuse, and fraudulent activities, it becomes increasingly challenging to maintain compliance as well as validate performance. SPD has developed a framework for best practices which integrates and leverages technology, establishes a governance structure, and installs controls. The combination of these three pillars improves the program performance and provides decision makers with the confidence needed to continue to expand the P-Card program in the state. Training procurement professionals. Lastly, SPD offers several programs to assist the state in training procurement professionals. The purpose of these training programs, offered free to state employees, is to provide state procurement resources with the opportunity to acquire the skills and knowledge needed to successfully apply the state guidelines and regulations, use the available tools and software, and perform procurement activities according to state rules and protocols. With the use of Team Georgia Learning, DOAS Learning Management System, or LMS, state employees can access their procurement training content and complete the assigned assessments online. This creates a centralized learning record of their training progress and provides SPD the information needed to grant certifications for P-card use, development of sourcing requirements and sourcing documentation, application of negotiation techniques, management of contracts, and of course, use of the system tools available to assist in the procurement function. Have questions? Use the contact information listed below. Thank you for watching the video, State Purchasing Division, Who We Are and What We Do.